What's going on?
Hello and welcome back. I really fucked that up because I actually meant to play another video, which was the intro. You know what? Hold on one second.
This week's episode of the Zompire Horde podcast is brought to you by Bloody Knuckle Customs. Come check us out at www.bloodyknucklecustoms.com.
And thank you for joining us back from that commercial break. This episode is brought to you by Bloody Knuckle Customs. And at the end, it'll be brought to you by Body Scare.
Excellent.
Bloody Knuckle Body Scare.
Oh, yes. Ooh, I want one of those.
A Bloody Knuckle Body Scare.
Yes, that should be a new dance move. Oh my God.
Brutal.
It's going to be a new dance move.
The Bloody Knuckle.
It could be in the next season of
Band Wars.
No, but yes. Wednesday.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Because there's some weird dance and shit that happens in that show.
Bloody Knuckle Body Scare is like some like drag your knuckle zombie. It's like you know, remember those old like 60s surfer era like toilet head fucking monsters that would be like knuckle dragging.
Yeah. Like rat fink and all that.
Yeah. Like that's what I imagine
lowbrow art
when you say that.
The rat rod stuff.
Yeah.
Facebook user says, happy Monday, I'm Annie Wilkes.
We know who that is.
I who that is. And I actually put Annie Wilkes right down here for you.
And you know what? She was one of my scary ladies that was, was going to be honored
about Miss
today.
Annie Wilkes tonight.
State speech snake news tweed says,
well,
this one, hi guys.
Whoa. He has been having a boner for this episode, hasn't he?
He pretty much always has a boner.
How would you know?
Because he lives like 3 blocks down the road from me.
Ooh.
And every time he skates by on his fucking skateboard, it's like this.
He lives 3 blocks down the road from you, and you've got a pair of binoculars.
Yeah.
So anyway, tonight's episode.
Why do we always talk about wieners?
It's a great subject.
Listen. Ballpark Franks. Okay, kosher, non-kosher,
Hebrew
nationals.
I'm tired of the wiener.
When you cook them,
you got the sausage with the little thing on the end, with the little clip on the end. Blood sausage.
Sausage with a clip on the end.
Chorizo.
What is that?
With the little metal...
It's like because it's made out of intestinal casing, and then they shove the ground up meat into that, and they tie it off.
Well,
it's disgusting.
Yeah, all sausages are made of intestinal. But what's the fucking clip? Oh, I know what you're talking about. With the metal thing that clips the
little bendy.
Okay. Yeah.
Gross.
Now you're
figured it out.
You're here.
I'm here. Now
it's
that
okay,
I figured
man.
out what intestinal clips you've been talking about, let's talk about some scary female people in horror movies.
Wait, now before we do that, because we haven't really talked about this episode at all. And I wanted to clarify something. Now, when we talk about scary women, or female characters, I should say,
Steven,
when it comes to someone like Norma Bates in the original Psycho, and Dr. Frankenfooter in Rocky Horror Picture Show, how do we work them into this conversation? Because although in the original Psycho series, Norma Bates was dead, but Norman Bates took on her persona and kind of cross-dressed. Like, where does that fall? Can we bring Norma Bates into this?
Absolutely.
Fuck yeah, okay. Let's do it.
Because Norma was a character. Right, I didn't think we were limiting it to just movies. I just thought it was just like scary women of like everything, folklore, stories.
Well, we wanted to like kind of break it up in the episodes. We didn't.
Oh, see, I did not know that.
First one,
I did not know that.
Well, now you know.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for telling me in the middle of the damn podcast.
And we're not quite in the middle yet. We're at the beginning.
Yeah, we're only a few minutes.
Okay, you're right. Emery, hi.
Oh, I just scared.
So we're bringing Norma Bates in. Perfect.
Yep. Yes. Yep.
Then let's get at it. Then let's talk about some wild females. Well, who's your favorite? Let's go with that. Let's start there.
Do you have to pick a favorite?
So I think I would have to break it down into like categories, but like for like humanistic female, that's just like crazy females in horror movies, not monsters per se, not like Syl from Species, who's a monster, but like just crazy ladies. I think I right now I would be tied, and I would be tied with Baby from House and Devil's Rejects, and then Pearl from X and Pearl, the Pearl movie.
I haven't actually seen either.
Mia Goth is taking the horror industry by storm right now, and Pearl is such a cool character. I'm excited to see what she does with her character in Infinity Pool from Brandon Cronenberg. That's another crazy lady, but I can't really talk about her because I haven't watched the movie yet, so I don't know like if she's like a monster in that movie or if she's, but from the preview she looks like she's doing some dirty deeds and pulling some guns on people and acting Mia Goth crazy. So I'm excited to see how insane she is in that movie. But yeah, I think right now my tops, I mean they change, but my tops would be probably Pearl and Baby Firefly.
Nice.
Michelle, what do you got for me?
I do like me some Annie Wilkes. I mean, she's terrifying in the fact, well, pretty much any of Kathy Bates' characters. You know what I mean?
Hi, Emery.
Hello.
But, you know, the fact that she's batshit crazy and you don't know what's going to happen next is part of the terror. Because she's capable of anything. She's fucking, like, gorilla strong. And
gorilla strong.
So, yeah.
Oh man,
that's your go-to? So
yeah, I mean, I'm sure if I like think of somebody, I'll be like, oh yeah, forgot about that one.
There's so many badass, crazy female characters in horror that it's
like I try to think of somebody like who, like if I came across him in real life, would I be scared? Would I be like totally terrified? I mean, I don't know.
Here's my thinking on this matter. The woman who started off an entire franchise of murder would be Mrs. Voorhees.
I knew you were going to say that.
You know, she was on my list too.
Now, she's not the killer we think of when you're like, all right, yeah, it's Jason Voorhees. We get it. She was in the one movie. She did a little bit of killing, but her legacy is what sparked. You know what I mean? Like,
is she really a monster, or was she just?
She was a very scary woman.
Was she the world's first Karen? Think about it.
Oh my
God!
I hate you for saying that right now. I feel like I'm about to rage quit this podcast right now. Just throw my fucking computer. I quit.
Just like knock it off the table.
I agree on the Baby. Like that's a great Happy Moon Day,
Angela.
Baby is a good one. My only thing with Baby is I guess I liked her in House of a Thousand Corpses. I definitely liked her in Devil's Rejects. But
she was more hot than scary, though.
No,
to me.
She's pretty fucking scary.
Fucking crazy. If I met her in real life, I would be like, this bitch is fucking crazy, and I would not deal with her. I'd be like, I'm out here.
There's two scenes where you just know if from the jump you should have never trusted her, and that's in Devil's Rejects when I forget the character's name, but he's like the lead of the band. And he's out there paying for a soda or whatever, and she walks up and she's all, "Hey, cowboy!" Yeah. And then in Three from Hell, they're at that hotel, and it's guys like on his like I don't know spring break vacation or whatever, and she approaches him, and she's obviously 100 times out of his league, but she flirts her way with him. It's like, dude, you know you're gonna die. You know you're gonna die.
This is how horror movies start.
This is how horror movies start.
You're about to die, homie.
Yeah, that's who we were just talking about. Annie Wilkes.
Yeah, Annie Wilkes.
Yeah.
Right down there, actually.
Yeah, right there somewhere.
We're kind of like there-ish. How's that?
I think close. I think with what I really like about Baby Firefly too is in at that House of a Thousand Corpses, you get to see her in character, right? Like what she does when they're like luring in their prey, and when they have their prey at their house, you get to see her like perform per se. But then in Devil's Rejects, you just see her as her, and I feel like she's more fucking crazy as her than she was in her character. Like, yeah, she was doing like weird things in House of Thousand Corpses, but when you see her just interact with her family and just people as they're running away, I'm like, this bitch is fucking crazy. Like,
I believe this is Michelle or Melissa, excuse me. To do what Miss Voorhees did is impressive, but Annie Wilkes can bring you to the brink of death and keep you alive. Yeah, she definitely tortures the living shit out of you, Annie Wilkes.
Yeah. She's not about killing. She's about just making you suffer, which is pretty intense.
Well, and I don't even know if she really like, she didn't want him to suffer. She just didn't want him to
She was punishing him.
Yeah, I think she wanted him to suffer.
Well, like, after he wrote the book
like,
or whatever.
You were going to pay for that.
Yeah. After he wasn't it like he had to write the final chapter or some shit, and then he ends up killing the character, and she's like, you can't do that.
You have to bring it back.
If I'm going to be super honest with you, I haven't watched Misery in probably a good 20 years, so I don't know exactly all the ins and outs. Like, I don't remember.
You'll have to watch it again. It'll come back to you. It's a good one.
Yeah.
It's a real good one.
Also, Grace Jones in Vamp. She played a
Yes.
Yeah. And her eyes all
terrifying.
Needle sharp bangs came out.
Terrifying.
Yeah. Yeah. With a capital T.
Yeah.
Luke says Charlize Theron in Monster, which yes, she did portray.
Yeah.
Eileen Wuornos.
Yeah, and she looked absolutely disgusting, like Eileen Wuornos.
Yeah, Eileen was on my list too, but because I didn't know we weren't doing real life people.
We'll talk.
That is such a transformation. Yeah, we have serial killer women set up for another episode, but if you want to bring it up, bring it up.
Oh, it's okay. Didn't we already do serial killer women?
Maybe.
I think we've already done that.
You know, the blessing of this show is we all
forget
memories, and so we can do episodes about the same shit all the time. Who cares?
And it'll be like when I listen to the radio, they've already played that 3 times in this hour.
Well, you guys are young enough to know of a movie called Jennifer's Body.
Oh, I love
that
movie.
I put her.
Yep, she's right over here.
Down that way.
Oh, other way.
I don't even know
it's
what's
opposite of what you think.
Megan Fox. I love that movie. I guess it's kind of on the it kind of rides the rails of being that like kind of teeny bopper horror, kind of like Scream, but like when you really watch it, the gore and the special effects draw you in so well, you know?
Yeah, no, I love that movie too. That's I thought it was a brilliantly done movie for what it was. You know, it was a teeny bopper horror, but it was on a different level than like I Know What You Did Last Summer and all those other weird ones. Scream's on a different level too. I can't put Scream as a teeny bopper movie. I love Scream, the whole franchise, but I get like Jennifer's Body is on that other level too. Megan Fox crushed it. Like it was a really good movie.
Speaking of Megan Fox, yeah, Megan Fox, because her toe thumb is terrifying.
Scary.
If we want to bring up
about her thumbs than anyone on earth.
Wait, what was that?
She gets more shit about her thumbs than anyone on earth.
Megan Do
Yeah. Do you ever heard about her thumbs?
No,
I've heard.
She has big toe thumbs, so they're like normal size here, and then they're really short and stubby here, and they look like your big toe.
So the only thing I've ever seen Megan Fox in that I can remember is Jennifer's Body. So I probably didn't notice because she's a demon. So I thought it was probably just prosthetics on her thumbs or something.
Melissa says Jennifer's body reminded me of Ginger Snap.
Yes, I was just going to bring Ginger Snaps up.
Melissa, me and you are always on it. What we're going to talk about at the show, because I was definitely going to bring up Ginger Snaps. It's my favorite werewolf movie, and I love Catherine Isabel in that movie. What's really funny is like it's my favorite werewolf movie, but it's my absolute least favorite looking werewolf. The werewolf in Ginger Snaps, when she's fully transformed, is god fucking awful. It is horrible, but it is the best werewolf movie ever made, hands down.
I was a big fan of the Wolf. I know this is a side note type of thing, but the Wolfman that had Benicio del Toro and
that was
what's
really
his name?
The remake of Wolfman.
The transformation in that was really well too.
Yeah,
or done really well is what I meant to say.
Yeah.
But back to Jennifer's body. Oh, here we go. Here's one. I also haven't seen Barbarian Mother from Barbarian.
Dude, that movie is so fucking weird. It's so good though. It's good. I loved it. It was weird. Just know Justin Long's in it, so you know fucking
I already want to see
weird shit happen.
Melissa says agreed, Patrick. I love it. So tell me about Barbarian. Give me a kind of a quick synopsis of what I'm missing.
You can't tell you about Barbarian without fucking ruining the movie.
You just gotta watch it.
It's one of those movies where you think it's going one way and then it fucking makes like this quick U-turn on you. And
an acute angle? Does it make an acute angle on you?
It makes it a disgusting angle. It's not. There's nothing cute about it at all. And if you talk about it, it's just gonna ruin it. You got to watch it though. It's really good. People either love it or hate it. I liked it. I thought it was pretty fucking good. It was pretty original, pretty unique. And Justin Long, and I love that guy. I know he's not part of the topic, but he was in Barbarian. I love Justin Long, and anytime I see that man's in a movie, I'm like, okay, something really fucking bad's about to happen to this guy because nothing ever goes good for him.
A highly underrated movie he's in is Tusk. A lot of people
don't
know about that movie.
I freaking love that movie.
Tusk is amazing.
Love that movie. And yes, something horrible happened to him in that movie as well. And the worst part was at the end when his friends came to visit him.
Yeah. Like threw him a salmon.
Dude. That's so twisted. That's the type of body horror shit I love.
I love all body horror.
I get mad at it because it's so wrong. And like Melissa will know that it's just like you're yelling at the TV because it's like, you don't have an IV. There's no antibiotics. You can't go in the water right after surgery. You know, things like that. It's just, I just get so angry, but I'm just so fascinated. And, you know, in odd terror.
Smith do Tusk? Was it? That's a Kevin Smith film, right?
Yes.
There's another movie attached to it called Yoga Hosers.
That movie sucks. I don't say movies suck very often. I try my damnedest to find the good in all movies, especially horror. Pretty much only horror.
What's it called? Yoga Hosers?
Yoga Hosers.
I love that
movie. That movie is one of probably the only 5 movies in my life that I've said sucked. That I just think are complete and utter garbage, and you can't find any redeeming quality.
So Tusk and that movie are related in like parts of story, like characters bleed over, and there's actually supposed to be a third one in that.
Which characters are the ones that bleed over?
Actually Johnny Depp daughters and Kevin Smith's daughter, who are the girls in the convenience store. Yoga Hosers is basically a story about them and these little miniature Nazi. What are they? What were they?
Little, I don't know. I couldn't finish it, dude. It was
it's so good. I love it,
dude. Agree to disagree.
That's the Canadian teeny bopper in me, though. But there's a lot of bleed over characters. Johnny Depp plays the detective in Tusk. He also plays the detective in Yoga Hosers. Doesn't that character bleed over? Pat, do you remember?
I don't remember. I didn't know any character bled over.
I'm pretty sure Johnny Depp's character comes over. But yeah, there's just some like mutual characters, and then there's supposed to, like I said, be a third one that is also connected to him in some way.
Well, hopefully it's more like Tusk and not Yoga Hosers.
Someone let's see, Stephen Belcher says watch Matt Shaw's Chained. Laura Wilson needs some major kudos for her role. Such a wonderful actress that really plays this part well.
Nice.
Check that out.
So you guys met them at Crypticon.
Yeah,
they're VIP guests.
Yeah.
Or celebrities, whatever. They're in the VIP room.
Everybody's while we're on the subject of body horror, I gotta probably bring up one of my favorite. I mean, subject of body horror, and I always bring up the Twisted Twins, but American Mary, Catherine Isabel, that's another crazy ass woman who more of a revenge type thing, like Miss Voorhees, but she goes crazy, more crazy than Pamela does, and I just think that movie's phenomenal. It's a great body horror movie. It's got a great woman villain. I don't know if she's really a villain. She's more of like a victim who goes crazy, more kind of like on the I spit on your grave type thing. Super rad movie though. Love it. So definitely want to give that a mention for this episode.
Also, since you did bring up body horror, I'm assuming that in all of our lists we would have Reagan, right? Pazuzu.
Oh yeah.
Oh
Reagan
yeah. That was one of the ones that like kind of like when we were talking, when I brought it up in the beginning, it's like, you know, presumably trying to say presumably and Pazuzu at the same time.
I was gonna say, are you trying to say Pazuzu?
I'm trying to say both, actually, was what it sounds like. But Pazuzu is kind of like a genderless demon, right? Like, I don't know that it's a male or female, but it's, you know, inside of young Reagan. So I wasn't sure if that was something that would bleed into the, like, you know, the monster girls or not, because she's an unwilling participant. You know what I mean?
Well, of course.
Yeah. But I assume, you know,
she's somebody who scares you and she's female, then she honestly belongs on the list.
Outside of there wasn't many things as a child that truly terrified me, but growing up in a Roman Catholic family, Satan certainly did, and the devil and possession and all that certainly did. So I don't remember at what age I saw Exorcist. I was probably 9 or 10. It scared the living shit out of me, just like Hellraiser did, because that was a real reality to me in that point in my life. Like, when you died, there was only 2 places you were going to go, and hell looked pretty goddamn bad. Now, as an adult, I realize hell is a bunch of cocaine, pinballs, rock and roll music, and partying all the time. You know,
and everyone's naked.
And everybody's naked. Unless you want to wear a bullet belt, you can wear a bullet belt. But otherwise, you're naked.
No clothes except for a bullet belt.
I just feel like in the afterlife, that's all I really want. You know, like just a bullet belt to wear. You know what? Never mind. I just realized the points on those bullets jabbing in the head of my dick.
Well, also think about it. If it's metal, it's going to get super hot. You're going to get blisters on your skin.
No, I'm a demon. That doesn't happen.
Michelle that's true. All like, you're being all smart and like logical. Like,
sorry,
it's super hot in hell. You're metal. No, I'm giving you kudos on that. It's glad those bullets are gonna. They might, if you have real bullets in there, they might even fire.
You would be definitely a disruption for the party.
What do
People would be like, "Hey, Vlad, what are you doing over there? Being all shooty and shit."
Shooty.
What do you guys think of?
Oh no, that must be Derek.
What happened?
I
have no interest in going to hell anymore if Vlad is naked.
Oh, Derek.
Yes, Derek.
I'm gonna leave him dead on the streets of El Mazarat tonight. That's because they both play Warzone together.
Is that going to be our next episode? Is Derek dead?
Is Derek dead? I'm gonna like videotape him dying on the streets of El Mazarat, and that'll be our intro next week.
You can just play it on a loop.
Yeah.
I'm
gonna go buy a teabag him,
yes,
and then rob all his shit out of his backpack, and then take off.
People are just gonna tune in for an hour of that on loop.
There you go. There's my Mad Max costume, nipple clamps and bullet belts.
Ouch! It's too hot for that. Ouch!
Hey, we're here all night, folks. No, but back to it. Carrie White. What's our feelings on Carrie?
She was on my list too. See, I don't know. She's not that scary to me because she's
again,
not like. Yeah, she's not scary.
It seems like a lot of the female characters are bent on revenge.
Yeah.
She was just pushed to her limit and she just couldn't take it anymore. She got tired of being treated that way by everyone. And I totally get it.
Yeah. Listen, I'm going to bring an expert in here. Angela, tell us about High Tension.
Oh, I love High Tension.
Ooh.
This is an expert High Tension person.
I saw it once and I remember liking it, but now I cannot tell you what it was about.
Here, you could just
scene when she fucking shoves the dresser against the dude's head when he's in the stair banister. What the
Angela's gonna give us her quick little rundown off camera, but on mic.
I can't even remember what her goddamn name was.
No, you don't need a name.
Anyways, High Tension, favorite horror movie ever that I'm being put on the spot to talk about right now, and I'm blanking on. If I talk about it, I'm gonna give away the plot points.
Nobody cares. It's a movie that came out 20 years ago. If they haven't seen
it by now, that's on them.
Okay, so
they've had their chance.
Fucking crazy badass female killer in High Tension. I'm gonna spoil it. We already said that. Her and her friend are like studying for finals at school, whatnot, and all this crazy shit starts happening, and this killer, whatever. Yes. Anyways, and so they're running from the killer. Everything's crazy. Well, it turns out that Alex is in love with her friend Marie, or is it Marie and Alex? I fucking forget. I don't remember.
It's Marie and Alex. Marie's in love.
Either way, she's in love with her. She fucking attacks her friend. She's the killer after all. I don't know why you're making me do this because I'm butchering. I'm ruining the movie, and it's my favorite movie. I fucking hate it.
All right, and back to our scheduled program.
No, it's such a good movie. I love that movie.
It is a great movie. My favorite part is when the dude's driving down the street and he has he's getting a blowjob from the amputated head and then just throws it out the window. I was like, it's such a brutal scene for most horror movies. Like you see people getting stabbed, shot, hung, smacked against a tree, but getting a blowjob with just a fucking rotted head and then chucking it out the window when you're done, like
just chucking out the window like it's no big deal,
like it's a cigarette butt.
Yeah, the birds will get it.
Right,
yeah, it's fine. It's natural. It will break down. It's not littering at all.
One of the cool things about High Tension is that it's a French horror film, but it is a French horror film that was specifically made as a nod to American horror films. As a little tidbit there.
There you go.
If you haven't watched that movie yet, you need to watch it. It's
so good.
So good.
All right. Who we got next?
Esther.
Let's
Esther from
see.
Orphan.
Orphan. Oh yeah, that's
Yeah. Fucking crazy ass movie, and Esther was awesome.
They're now coming out with another one of those, aren't they? Or did one just come out?
The sequel, a prequel, just came out a little while ago. Yeah, I haven't watched it yet though.
Okay. Yeah, that movie was good. It had an Omen feel to it. I felt like not like story,
but with a cool twist.
Yeah, not like fully story based Omen, just like the overall feel of the movie.
Yeah.
But I don't know. There's certain things, and this is going to lead into my next one.
Oh boy.
Like children and things that just don't really frighten me. But one of the ones I think that we'd be like remiss if we didn't bring up is a little gal by the name of Tiffany.
Oh, yeah. And little gal, you talking about the wait, are we talking about the same Tiffany?
Is she sitting next to you? Wait, is she in the room?
I was gonna say, are we talking about the same Tiffany? Are you talking little girl as in doll, or are you calling Jennifer Tilly little? Like
no. I meant the doll.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or big,
that counts.
Big.
I mean,
Tiffany,
she's
whoever.
somewhere in the house. Somewhere in the
A
house.
little worrisome. You don't know where she's at in the house.
Yeah,
She's somewhere.
Luke,
not quite where I left her.
Yeah, post this earlier.
Last time I saw her, she was baking cookies.
But but she's a little like, a little kind of. I'm not afraid of her. I'm not afraid of Chucky neither. Like I never got super.
Fuck you, man. They have godlike strength. We've had this conversation before. Chucky will kill
Patrick
you.
says you can't just kick Chucky.
You can't just kick Chucky.
I'll tell you what. I'll just put him in a 5-gallon bucket and pour it fucking full of concrete, and then I'll call it a day.
I mean,
getting out of that.
I will defend the Chucky movies until the day I die. They're so just fun. How could you hate on them?
Look, my favorite is a fat guy who runs with a fucking live chainsaw after skinny little teenagers and somehow catches them. So my shit's just unrealistic as that shit. You know what I mean?
Fair enough. No, but Tiffany is she's evil, and then she's fucking smart. She plays Chucky like a little son bitch. Like she knows what she's doing. She's smart. She's not just like when they introduce Tiffany in the movies, they introduce her as just kind of like Chucky's little sidekick, Chucky's little lackey. And then you like realize like, no, this girl is like, she's pulling the strings. She, especially when you watch the TV show, you see like Tiffany's actually pulling some strings here, and she's pretty manipulative, and she's got shit under control.
She's
kind
of puppet masters Chucky a little.
Yeah, Chucky's the puppet and she's the master.
Do you have one for us, Michelle?
No.
What about, and then somebody please help me with how I say this name. Kayaoko from The Grudge.
Yeah.
That one?
Not a fan.
Not a fan as in you didn't like The Grudge?
Or not a fan as she's not scary.
Or you don't want to run into Kayaoko in the streets.
Oh man, if that ghost was real, I'd probably be scared. I ain't gonna lie. I ain't trying to act cooler and tougher than that. But I didn't like the movie. I think it was Sarah Michelle Gellar. I think she ruined it for me.
Oh,
that's what one of the things I love about horror movies is typically it's not big name actors. You become big name actors after the movie. So when you first watch, the original blah blah blah, you see it for the first time, you're like, it's just a bunch of no names, right? And I love that about horror because it draws me more into the story. If it's Will Smith or The Rock or Jim Carrey, I get pulled out of the story so easily because I'm so used to seeing their faces all the fucking time in every fucking role. That's one of the things I appreciate about horror. And yes, there's certain people who do a lot of horror, and even those people, I'm like, dude, I'm so sick of this fucking person, like, and not for nothing. I know everyone loves Sherry Moon Zombie, but if Rob Zombie makes another fucking movie and she's in it, I'm gonna lose my goddamn mind.
But not everybody loves Sherry Moon Zombie. People actually hate her. Like people hate on her so much.
I just think that I think that a lot of people don't hate her as a person. Obviously, I think that they hate that how overused she is and how not great of an actress she is, and thinks that she gets the roles simply for being Rob Zombie's girlfriend or wife now.
2 counterpoints to that, which I'll always throw out. 1, Rob Zombie is not the only person who uses the same actors and actresses all the time, but he's the only one that gets shit for it. And 2, it's the fucking horror genre. You don't have to be a good actor/actress to be in there. So people need to quit giving those two shit. Who cares if Sherry Moon Zombie is a horrible actress? I don't, because it's a horror movie. Red. I don't base it off of acting. Who cares if Rob Zombie uses the same people? So does fucking Tim Burton. Nobody gives him shit about it.
But are you really comparing Johnny Depp and fucking Sherry Moon Zombie here?
Or no, he's sharing a similarity.
Not
sharing a similarity.
Skill, not
a common thread.
But in the fact that they always get Johnny Depp is always in a Tim Burton film,
right?
Than a Rob Zombie film,
right?
And nobody gives Tim Burton shit. Always using Johnny
Winona Ryder.
Well, what was that?
Winona Ryder.
Yeah, exactly. Again, nobody gives him shit for that. And I think it's because it's his wife. Everybody's like, whoa, you gotta cast your wife again. I love the fact that they support each other. I love that Sherry Moon doesn't do any other acting really other than Rob Zombie. She's done something here and there, but she doesn't do really anything except for her husband's. And I think that's great. I love it.
She doesn't do anything except for her husband. Melissa says The Grudge and the Green Girl, Katie from Paranormal Activity 2.
Oh yeah, forgot about Paranormal.
Did I say
Activity
Michelle
2.
again, or did I say Melissa?
You said Melissa.
Okay.
You did good.
And at the end of the day, it's his movies, so he can use whomever he wants. Agreed. And there's some characters that, and I'm not saying that I thought that way. I'm just saying everything I read on Twitter and
people,
that's just the common thread.
Definitely a common thought. People always trash them.
I'm not a huge fan of this Salem witch one he did. I forget what it's called again.
Witches of Salem,
something like that. Salem something.
What is it? Lords of Salem.
Lords of Salem.
Like, I wasn't a big fan of that, but I thought she was really great in that role. You know what I mean? Like,
she did a good job.
The only one that I think I kind of was like, I enjoyed 3 from Hell, but her character seemed, I mean, I guess that, she would have been in jail for a while, but it seems so much further away from Devil's Rejects and House of a Thousand Corpses. Yeah. I mean, I guess it did reflect House of a Thousand Corpses a little bit more, but it seems like she was way more off the deep end.
Yeah, it was hard to visualize her being like accepting the fact that she was that different in that movie. I know what you mean. It was really hard. Like, it was a big pain point for me in that movie. I was like, Baby Firefly is a little off on this movie right now.
Right. What about Annabelle? That's a good one.
Yeah,
that's Annabelle.
That's the same thing as
Tiffany.
Reagan, right? It's
Reagan.
It's a possession. It's a demon possessing a doll. So we can bring Reagan in. We can bring Annabelle in.
True.
That's true. What did you guys think of that whole Conjuring universe?
I love it.
They're coming out with a new Nun, I heard.
Yeah.
Another one?
Yeah. The Nun is my favorite movie in that universe. I love it.
Bonnie Aarons is such the perfect
Nun
face
for that role.
Yeah.
She was supposed to be a guest at Crypticon one year, but she got sick and wasn't able to make it or something like that.
They barely had to do any prosthetics on her like nose and stuff for that role. It's like she's perfect for it.
I know this has a little off topic, but just for anyone who cares, who's watching and listening, 2 gals from Night of the Comet are going to be at Seattle Crypticon. It was announced today.
Yeah.
Mary Elizabeth Stewart.
Right.
And Kelly Maroney. I know Kelly Maroney, but
you have it up.
I could get it up.
Okay. Yeah, I'm super excited. That was like the first horror movie that I ever saw, and so that's pretty cool.
Night of the Comet's such a rad movie.
It really is, and I watch it. And I'm like, oh god, it's so bad, but man, it just brings back that middle school vibe.
Catherine Mary Stewart and Kelly Maroney.
You said that very what is it? European and
eloquently.
Yes, that word.
Crypticon Seattle is overjoyed to welcome the stars of classic Night of the Comet, Catherine Mary Stewart and Kelly Maroney.
Are they the final announcement, or do we got more? We got more. Nice.
Because there's usually, how many do they usually book there? Do you know, Michelle? Is it usually about 12 to 15?
I think it's like a dozen. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and then there's like writers, comic book artists.
Right.
Podcasters. Hint. But let's get back to the women in horror movies.
Got it.
Got it.
I'm looking.
I'm reading the notes.
Same was my first horror movie. And love for B movies. I'm assuming they're talking about Night of the Comet.
Yes.
Yeah.
Night of the Comet was one of my faves too, though I have found a handful of bloopers in it that make me laugh. I still love seeing it. Also, one other thing I want to talk about really quick before we get back into it.
Right.
Do you guys ever watch like specifically mid 80s to early 90s movies and think to yourself, like, had it been made today, how much better it would have been? I was watching, and don't get me wrong, Killer Clowns from Outer Space is perfect as a movie.
Don't hate on it.
I'm not hating on it. What I am saying is, after watching it again today and knowing what we can kind of do with CGI and things, and I'm not saying that every movie needs to have it, but I was just looking at that movie. I'm like, you know how much fucking cooler. But I do really enjoy the like cartoon-esque, aspects, the clowns and everything.
Right.
I just think that nowadays we can make it like so much more of a visual experience along with that story. It was just something that occurred to me before the episode today.
Yeah, no, I think about that kind of stuff. I also think about who would have been cast if it was made in a different era. Like, who would have been cast if it was made today instead of, in the 80s. I like to do that too.
Yeah.
Steven Beltzer says the gal in the Evil Dead remake was pretty creepy, but then again, the gals in the original Evil Dead gave me nightmares when I was a kid. Agree. The scene, what is it, when she's cutting her tongue?
Yeah.
That's so brutal. It's one of my favorite horror scenes is that scene itself. Like one of my probably top 10 favorite scenes is her cutting her tongue.
Yeah.
It's just so fucking badass. That whole movie was done really well. I think they encompassed what the original Evil Dead was trying to accomplish.
Yeah. It was
and like being as scary as it was.
One of the best remakes ever made.
100%.
Yeah, and I'm super stoked about the next one coming out. The preview looks so good. But yeah, and then in the remake, when I don't remember the girl's name, but when she takes the electric knife and she just saw in her arm.
Yeah.
That was so brutal.
Yeah.
It was so good. I was like, Jesus Christ, this movie's so fucked up. It's so good.
That character's name was Mia.
Yeah, the main character, the main lady.
Oh yeah.
Was Mia.
What about? So did you guys see? What was that movie called? Queen of the Damned.
Yeah. Are you gonna bring up Aaliyah?
I can see Pat's not too excited.
It was good. I mean, it wasn't. It wasn't on the caliber as Interview, so I was a little disappointed. It was a good movie. I didn't hate it. It's not in the handful of movies that I think are trash. I can find redeeming qualities of it. I just think it's like when I was watching it, it was like, okay, Interview with the Vampire had like $300 million, and I'm just throwing numbers out, had like a $300 million budget, had like the best screenplay writer ever, good acting, and then Queen of the Damned came out, and it was like, okay, we're gonna cut the budget down to $20,000. We're gonna hire this writer who's nowhere near as good as, and I don't know who wrote any of them. I know who wrote the books. I'm not talking about Anne Rice. I'm talking about like the screenwriters. Just like I feel like they just didn't put the effort into Queen of the Damned that they put into Interview with the Vampire. So I was a little let down.
But you also got to think of the span and time between those movies. At that point when Queen of the Damned came out was more of the MTV spring break generation.
Yeah.
I don't think would have appreciated the Queen of the Damned you have in mind. Do you know what I'm saying? Not that the one that you have is wrong, bad, or otherwise. No, yeah. I'm just saying like that. I don't know that it would have been good for that era because at that point, you just said it. God damn it. The other one came out. The other fucking
Interview with the Vampire.
Interview with a Vampire. Yes.
Well, and I also hated the fact that Lestat's singing voice was Jonathan Davis from Korn. That literally upset me so much. I was like, that Lestat would not sound like that while he was singing. What is happening right now?
The Gary Oldman Dracula is fucking amazing, though.
And Bram Stoker. Gary Oldman's probably the best actor that walked the face of the planet. In any genre.
I could see it. I'm a huge Christian Bale dude because Christian Bale's never done a bad anything.
Yeah, no, he's good.
Well, I mean, I shouldn't say
he's not as diverse as
I think he told his family to fuck off or some shit. Like that was probably pretty rude. So I can't say he's never done anything wrong, but all of his movies are amazing.
All his movies are awesome.
This day and age, it's like you kind of, back in our day, we just could idolize somebody because there wasn't the internet. We didn't hear all the bad shit they did.
Right.
You know what I mean? Now it's like you got to be careful who you say you idolize or who you support or anything like that. Because a week from now, he's going to come out with a video from 20 years ago where he said this or that. And now everyone hates you because he's an idiot.
Yeah. They come out as a racist and now you're racist because 2 days ago you idolize him. I'm like, well, I didn't know.
Because 2 days ago you watched Interview with a Vampire and then you found out that Brad Pitt was like, you know, having sex with children or something. I'm like, all I did was watch a fucking movie.
Right.
Go ahead. Oh, you're going to leave? Go ahead and talk amongst yourself.
Oh, okay. Oh, I don't know. I was thinking about wrapping it up.
Oh.
Unless you guys have more.
I mean,
there's so many of them.
Do you have more?
What about
keep them going?
What about Sylvia Ganesh and Drag Me to Hell?
Yeah. That's the gypsy lady that does the curse, right?
Correct.
Yeah, that movie was great. I love it. I think that's one of my favorite Sam Raimi films. I love that movie.
Yeah, mine too. And I actually did not realize he did that movie until almost recently. And then I'm like, and then it like as
you
soon
couldn't
as I
see his style in that.
Well, no, as soon as I saw that face again, when I saw her face, I was like, oh my God, that's an Evil Dead makeup face. Like,
yeah, totally.
It's exactly Evil Dead makeup face. Return of the Living Dead zombie.
From 3? Linnea Quigley.
Yeah. Also really. Yeah, when I first watched Drag Me to Hell, I was probably 3 sheets to the wind, and I thought this was a good movie. Also, Justin Long is in that, isn't he?
Yeah. Oh my God. You know what? He is, and that is probably the only movie that nothing bad happens to him. That's so funny.
Fucking Justin
totally
Long,
forgot
man.
about that. He's in that movie, and nothing bad happens to Justin Long in that movie. I mean, except for spoiler alert, but it's another 20-year-old movie, so. Same thing with High Tension. I guess the fact that he lost his wife is bad, but not bad in comparison to what happens to him in other movies.
Ooh,
right? Like Tusk.
This is a good one I didn't think about. The chicks from Hostel.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Using their magic to lure people into their death.
Yeah. How do we feel about Natasha Henstridge in Species?
Yeah, I brought her up earlier. Syl from Species. I love that.
Yeah.
I love those movies. All three of them. All three of them are good. People hate on the third one, but I love it.
There was also Amelia in the Babadook.
Yeah.
Oh, Babadook. Babadook.
And then Toni Collette from Heredity. People hate that movie too, but I thought it was good.
Dude. I love that movie.
People don't like artsy. I'm beginning to learn that there's a chunk of horror fans that don't like art style horror movies. Like the movie that just came out, Skinamarink. People are trashing that movie because
really?
it's like an art house horror. Like it's artistic and it's not just a in your face horror movie. And people are trashing it. I thought it was pretty good.
I've not seen it.
Do you guys watch any foreign stuff?
Yes.
Have you seen Audition?
I own Audition.
That movie is.
Yeah, I haven't seen it in a really long time though, but I have it on DVD.
Asami Yamazaki.
Yeah, that movie's awesome. That's another revenge style one, as we were talking about earlier. Yes. Like the revenge style, the women that are in it are evil because they're seeking some kind of justice or revenge or whatnot. Some of the things she does in that movie.
Well, I feel like we've covered a lot in this episode.
Covered a lot of ground this evening.
Was there anyone that you had left, Mr. Cosgrove, to bring up?
No, I think I really I really enjoyed this conversation because a lot of times when women are talked about in horror, it's always the scream queen or the final girl, which is fine. I love scream queens. I love final girls. I think they are the foundation of horror, but nobody the bad girls in horror, the ones that are fucked
bad girls.
Sing it. so I just love the fact that we actually tackled that and we actually discussed the evildoers of the women.
Yes.
Instead of the good ones.
There is one thing we did skip over, and I want to bring it up because a movie came out recently that kind of personifies what you were just talking about. Julia in Hellraiser, and then the new Hellraiser where Pinhead is actually portrayed as a female Cenobite.
Oh.
Yeah.
Again, when I was 10, I saw Hellraiser in the theater, and although Julia didn't scare me, the fucking Cenobites certainly did. And there's even Barbara Wild, or Barbie Wild, is that her name? Mm-hmm. Who played the female Cenobite in the first 2 Hellraisers, I believe.
Yeah.
But yeah, with the new Hellraiser coming out and that being, Pinhead being portrayed as a woman, I thought was fucking awesome. I know it got a lot of flack from people because they changed the gender of.
But they didn't. They did from the movies, but they didn't from the source material.
Right. I
mean, Pinhead was genderless.
You have to understand, most people don't read anymore.
And I know,
that's
get
true.
It was the same thing that happened when the Wednesday show came out. Everyone was up in arms about Luis Guzman playing Gomez, and it's like, you only know Gomez from the movies as fucking Raul Julia. Like, the real Gomez from the comic looks exactly like fucking Luis Guzman. So like, it's just, people don't do research. All they know is the things they know in their heads, and so they, you show them anything new to them, and they're like, oh my God. It's like, dude, if you look at where it came from, if you knew all those avenues, like, fuck, there's a female Thor, duh.
Yep. Oh, I mean? Like, Jane Foster.
There's all kinds of shit.
I love going back to Hellraiser. Don't get me wrong, I love Doug Bradley as Pinhead. Fantastic job, but the lady who played Pinhead in the new one, I think, captured the essence of what the Cenobites were fantastically. And I love the fact that Pinhead had the body of a female but the voice of a male. So they pretty much made Pinhead genderless, just like in the source material, but not really, because you could tell, body wise that was female. But with the male voice, they kind of they tried to capture the genderless feel that they were trying to say in the movies or in the novels. I love that. The remake of Hellraiser was so good.
I have to see it.
The actress who portrayed Pinhead was Odessa A. Zion.
Yeah. Fantastic job, Odessa.
Yeah.
You crushed it. Good job.
I was trying to see if there was anything else noteworthy that she's actually been in, and I don't see anything. But she does have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 movies coming out in the next year. So
hopefully hopefully at least one of those is another Hellraiser.
It doesn't look like it, but that's not to say that it's not, the following year or something to that effect.
You know how they always say, like, who would like for Freddy, like, nobody else can be Freddy other than Robert Englund. How they say that, or they try to say, if somebody's going to take over Freddy, I want to be this person. A lot of people say they want like Kevin Bacon to be Freddy Krueger. Right. I think Odessa is the next Pinhead. Like, if they steer away from her, they're fucking up. They need to expand the franchise with her, because she is Pinhead.
Well, and that new movie too is based off a specific Hellraiser storyline, isn't it?
Yeah, it's based off of the novella. I can never say that word. The short story. Yeah, that word, novella. It's based off the novella. What's it called? Not a Telltale Heart. Something Heart. I can't remember. It's been a while. But yeah, it's based off of the original short story.
Yeah, it's where did I just see it? The Hellbound Heart.
That's it. The Hellbound Heart. I was thinking the Telltale Heart. I was thinking of Edgar Allan Poe and fucking Clive Barker at the same time.
Oh, so it's saying that it was actually adapted into the 1987 film Hellraiser, but this is like so both movies are actually based on that, on the Hellbound Heart.
Yeah, I think this one's a little bit closer than the original, though,
to the story that he wrote. Right on.
Yeah. The original is fantastic.
Wait, hold on. We got stuff going on here. What does this say? Everyone's vision of what they read in a book is different from one person to the next. Rawhead Rex is a perfect example. The movie version is way different than the version in Taping the Vein comic.
Yeah, Rawhead Rex.
We actually, I think Rawhead Rex was in our first Zompire box. I think we did like an art print.
That's such a good movie.
But so what do we got next week? What are we doing?
Oh man, I have to look.
What are we doing next week?
Wow. The schedule keeper, it doesn't have the schedule.
I like it. He's got it.
Wow.
Next Monday we have a guest, Mr. Tim Shockey.
Oh.
Would you like to explain that one, Vlad?
Yeah.
You set that
up. In one of our boxes, we actually had remnants from the reconstruction of the original Goblin head from
okay.
Overdrive.
Gotcha.
So the Goblin head being the big green Goblin head that was on the front of one of the main truck in Maximum Overdrive, the Stephen King adaptation starring Emilio Estevez. This guy owns the original head. He refurbished it. We bought some of the what is that shit called?
Like the shavings.
Yeah, but I can't remember what the material is called, but basically you had to like shave a bunch of it down. So we bought the shavings and made these collectibles out of it. But the owner, he takes this head around to horror conventions and things. And so he's going to come on and talk about like, where he bought it and kind of, the history of it and talking about bringing it to conventions and things like that. So
the story of the Goblin head.
Nice.
Goblin head. Maximum Overdrive's Goblin head.
Yeah. Where does he live at?
Podcast.
Do you know where he lives?
I think he's in like Virginia or Kentucky.
Oh, it's kind of far.
But he travels the United States with his head, taking it to conventions. So getting it to Crypticon might not be out of the question.
See, that's what I was thinking.
We need the Goblin head at Crypticon.
Agreed.
Yes.
Agreed. So next week, the Goblin. Do we have anything after that there, Patty?
Man, you are putting me on the spot, homie.
Patty McPatterson?
I'm just, trying to see ahead.
I did the one after that's probably going to be rescheduled for a conversation that we had. So no, I don't have anything to say after that.
Well, with that this week, we thank you for tuning into the Zombie. Any final thoughts or words, Michelle of the Dead?
Always be terrified of women.
That is a great.
I watch a lot of the 48. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that show. And so she's not wrong when she says always be careful of the women.
Yeah.
They will lie to the cops for you. They will murder you. They will put hemlock in your tea and you will die.
They will stab you with icicles.
Sleeping well tonight.
Dude,
I know, because you're going to sleep next to a woman.
I just read this thing recently. It was like one of those Facebook news stories about a woman. I believe she was in Wisconsin or something like that, or Milwaukee or some shit. And she was married, had a boyfriend, went to his house. He lived in his mom's basement, by the way.
Nice.
There's hope for you, Luke. And they were on like a drug binge, and they were having sex. And during sex, strangled him, cut his head off, fucking sucked his dick, fucked him in the ass with something, and then fucking wrote him again, and then put his head in a bucket and a blanket over it, and his mom found him.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why didn't we talk about her in this show? Okay, wait. We got the other one, the true crime. Remember that story?
So next week we got that guy. Maybe the week after that we do the true crime women, like Michelle was thinking.
I have to do some adjusting around, because I mean I can just say, like, I have on the schedule for the after Tim Shockey, I have Infinity Pool and Crimes of the Future listed, but we were discussing the fact that we might not have time to watch both those movies, because I haven't seen either of them.
I haven't either.
I was gonna bump that down a few weeks,
right?
So I have to adjust, but I can adjust with the serial killer ladies.
Yeah, we'll figure it out next week. Though we do got, is it Tim
Tim
Shockey. And with that, folks, you know we love you here at the Zompire Horde Podcast. And until next time.
This week's episode is brought to you by Body Scare. All natural body care products so good, they're scary.
What's going on?